क्लियर हो रहा है तुम लोग को?
हाँ सर।
हैव यू सीन? बट यू आर नॉट, ऑल आर नॉट विजिबल, तुम दिखाई नहीं दे रहे हो। अच्छा, इसके चलते अब दिख रहे हो ना?
हाँ सर।
Let us start. Uh, we have already discussed about the different variety of cheese, and this chapter actually includes, the different type of additives or preservatives is being used by the dairy industry, है ना, to further improve the quality or to enhance the shelf life of the cheese. So you already know the different things during the different cheeses, but the common things which we have discussed, that I have already told you in previous classes that calcium chloride is one of the additives which is actually used to maintain the calcium availability for better coagulation of rennet. That is the rennet coagulation as required for cheese making. So calcium level must be available at such a level so that we can get say best coagulum which is desirable for the cheese making. So this is already I have told you that two type of treatments. Two type of treatments we have. I have already told you that when cheese industry or dairy industry receive the milk, they undergo the treatment of instant chilling or cooling. The purpose already know that we have actually to store, we have to actually not allow the psychotrops to grow, because the psychotrops are actually getting a huge problems or defects during the ripening of the cheese. That particularly for the ripened variety of cheese, either that is Indam cheese, Swiss cheese, Cheddar cheese. There are some whatever the different ripened variety of cheese. This type of defect is actually observed. That is why we can go for the chilling. Another one is that to further improve the quality of the cheese milk, we can go for thermization. Thermization, that is already know that the treatment of milk, which is generally conducted at 63 degrees centigrade for 63 degrees centigrade for 63 to 65 degrees centigrade for 10 to 15 seconds before storing to 4 to 8 degrees centigrade. So the purpose of homogenization is same, that we cannot allow the subsequent growth of the psychotrophs. The main purpose of that, when we reduce the growth of psychotrophs, then definitely we can retard the protein degradation and also able to reduce the flavor defect in the cheese. So these are the things. And another, we already know that the pasteurization, that is after the fermentation of milk, we can go for pasteurization, because fermentation is not a substitute of pasteurization. So when we go for pasteurization, I have already told the importance of pasteurization in the context of, however, there is some limitation of the cheese milk, because some of the flavors which is actually lost, and typical flavor of cheese which is actually may be absent when we pasteurize the milk. So this is the limitation of the pasteurization. So but still that is actually recommended because they actually kills the pathogens and also activate the enzymes, like as a protease enzyme, which is actually released by the different microbes, and which actually affect the healthiness and palatability of the cheese. So some studies have already indicated that pasteurized milk does not develop the full flavor as we get in the raw milk. So in some country still they are using raw milk, but that is not recommended scientifically. That is actually not recommended. So, but still in some countries they are actually using raw milk for the cheese making. Another one is that when we pasteurize the milk, still some microflora like macrococci, enterococci, forms, and spore forming bacteria, particularly Bacillus and Clostridium, is actually not destroyed by the pasteurization. Then this is the things. But when we pasteurize the milk, definitely we can not. When we pasteurize the milk, then there will be some precipitation of calcium, particularly in the cow milk. So that is why in cow milk we are actually recommended the addition of 0.02 to 0.03% calcium chloride to the cheese milk. So this is actually common practice, particularly in the cow milk, and it is also available in tricalcium phosphate, so that we can get the coagulation, renate coagulation can be optimum for the cheese making. So this is why we are adding, particularly in the case of cow milk. But when we are using buffalo milk, because they are already rich in calcium, when we pass it, when we heat the milk, then 80% of the 80% of the calcium is actually available in colloidal form. They are actually converted into somewhat in insoluble form and some soluble, but still the calcium content is level is such available in such a way that is gives the best problem of the cheese curd that is actually required for the cheese making. So the case of buffalo milk, there is no addition of calcium chloride. So we are actually allow the presence of calcium chloride only in the case of cow milk. Whatever the cheese you are made, either you can made Gouda cheese, or you can made Edam cheese, or you can made Swiss cheese, whatever cheese. So, but in case of cow milk,
Yes.
this is the common practice that we are adding calcium chloride. Okay, then salt inhibitory to undesirable microorganisms. So there are so many salts. We have already, nitrates. Nitrates is actually allowed by the different WHO, World Health Organization. That is actually permissible by the World Health Organization, that you can use nitrates, because when we add the nitrates, we can control the growing defect, which is most common in the ripened variety of cheese. We can check the growth of such cheese. So we are disturbing some students. Again, this is so I am telling you that the nitrates, which is actually you can use sodium or potassium nitrate, they are generally added to the milk up to or 200 ppm, so that we can actually overcome the blowing defect in the cheese, particularly in all ripened variety of cheese. So this late blowing defect is actually uh, due to the due to the due to the growth of butyric acid bacteria, and particularly Clostridium butyricum and Clostridium botulism and Clostridium tyrobutyrycum. So this is the beauty of sodium nitrate or potassium nitrate, that when we add it to the milk, that is admissible up to 200 ppm, they are not disturbing the growth of the lactic acid bacteria, because our aim is that the lactic acid bacteria should be not checked, because they are actually responsible for the one of the flavor development, along with that, no doubt. But the acid development is consistent rate even in the ripening room is actually required to get that different flavor in the cheese. So that is why this nitrate is actually do not affect the growth of lactic acid bacteria or coliforms. So this is the things we have to discuss. Another one is the biggest drawback of nitrates. You already know that nitrates is actually gets converted into nitrites, and which may react under mild acidic conditions with various amino acid and proteins to form nitrosamines that are cancerogenic. So that is why this is actually not practiced by some developed country. So, but this is actually when we get the poor quality of milk, or there may be chances of some defects. So then we can use such type of additives in the form of sodium and potassium chloride. So these are the things, that is why we are nitrates that is used in the in the cheese, Edam cheese, Swiss cheese. So this is used. So salt like potassium nitrate, we have already said sodium hydrogen carbonate, calcium carbonate, monosodium dihydrogen phosphate, and niacin. You already know that that is one of the biopreservatives. So biopreservatives, one of the biopreservatives, niacin. So niacin has not any adverse effect, not only on the quality of the cheese, but also there is no health hazards, any type of health hazards reported when we use niacin. Niacin is actually also obtained from the lactic acid bacteria. So niacin is actually also being used to check the growth of undesirable microorganisms. So this is the things, and this is added in some less acidic cheeses like Edam cheese and Gouda cheese. So these are the things we have to actually discuss. And another one is that one of the main things you can observe that when we get somewhat poor, somewhat the presence of the coliform, then you can observe that there is a growth of gas forming organism, and that is actually showing blonde defect in the cheese. So to prevent the gas promoting organism, sorbic acid is actually used, so that we can actually check the growth of yeast, mold, and some bacteria. So sorbic acid is also being used in the dairy industry to check the growth of some gas forming bacteria. So these things we have to discuss. Another one is that you can use common salt. Common salt is actually used in almost all rapid variety of cheese. Salt is actually is being used, and generally we are using the salt at the rate of 2% of the weight of the curd. Salt is already, you know that salt is actually used for improving the flavor of the cheese. Another one is that salt is also suppress the growth of undesirable microorganisms, because when there is a presence of any type of 50 bacteria, that will hamper the flavor development of the cheese. They will actually compete with the lactic acid bacteria, and the growth of the lactic bacteria is not optimum, which is actually desirable for the cheese flavor development. So salt is added to check the growth of the unwanted microorganisms. Another one is that to assist the physicochemical changes in the curd. Another one is that they slow down the growth of lactic acid bacteria and also unwanted microorganisms. And already told you that is actually to give the cheese an appetizing taste. That means you can actually improve the flavor of the cheese by adding this one. And another one is that acidulants are actually very much common used in the cheese making. So we are using lactic acid generally, but there are several food grade acidity is actually recommended and being used in different parts of the world for manufacture of the cheese. So the acid of high food grade quality are lactic acid, glacial acetic, lemon juice, vinegar, D-glucono-delta-lactones, phosphoric acid are being used to increase the acidity of the milk. So you already know that acidity is actually certain level of acidity is required to get the better activity of the rennet. So this is actually when we after the cutting and molding, or after the adding of the starter culture to the cheese, we can allow some times. In the case of cow milk, we are allowed around 30 minutes to get the acid development so that the proper action of rennet can be taken place. In case of buffalo milk, we are allowed 40 to 42 minutes. Then we can get the desirable acid development in the cheese milk. So then after that we can add rennet. Either you add calf rennet or micro-rennet. So this is things to get the acidity at the level so that the better action of coagulum or coagulum formation can be taken place by the rennet. So glacial acetic acid 12.5% concentrated acid at the rate of 2.7% is being used in the milk. So Panso Blanco cheese we are and vinegar we are using for the mozzarella cheese. We will discuss in details when we discuss about the mozzarella cheese. So even in mozzarella cheese we are using vinegars at the rate of 0.03%, and in also in Panso Blanco cheese. And lime juice is used in the manufacture of, you already know that different sulti cheese, that is Gujarat origin. We are use lemon juice in chena and paneer, and bandal cheese, that is also of Indian origin, and paneer is also being made by the use of lemon juice and chena. Another one is that we have to discuss is color and bleaching agents. Color and bleaching agents. So when I have already told you that some to get the specific preference of the consumer, keeping in mind of the cheese of consumers, we are actually adding the actually the annatto color to the cheese milk, that is it will, and we can particularly in buffalo milk we are actually adding the color to the cheese milk, which is of annatto, which is food grade color, and we are using in the cheese when we made from buffalo milk. Similarly, when we go for the brand cheeses, definitely we cannot able to similarly somewhat is actually coming again and again for the class. They are not attached. So I have already told you annatto color is actually widely used in the cheese, and beside that we are also use H2O2 air sulfahydryl compounds in the ripening cheese, and copper and iron act as a catalyst in the oxidation of annatto pigments. So H2O2 is used in some parts of the country instead of to give the full treatment of the pasteurization, because in some country they are used the hydrogen peroxide at the rate of 0.04 to 0.08% at 60 degrees centigrade for 16 seconds in the STST pasteurization. What is the purpose of that? This is actually the excess of H2O2 is actually removed by the addition of catalase, and this treatment can reduce the, when we treated the milk with the H2O2, we will definitely reduce the number of bacteria, and even spore forming bacteria is also absent, but spore forming bacteria are not easily destroyed. So even when we use the H2O2, then some bacteria are mostly bacteria are actually destroyed, or but the spores are still remain in the H2O2. So we are actually not allowed scientifically, we are not recommended, but in some country they are using hydrogen peroxide to the treatment to the milk by giving heat treatment 60 degrees centigrade only for 16 seconds in the case of STST pasteurization. So this H2O2 is actually used for the also one of the additives in the cheese. Another one we have already riboflavin is yellow in solution with green yellow fluorescence tends to give greenish tint. So this is according to the type of cheese we are actually deciding the addition of color to the cheese. And another one is that you can also give also here the different type of cheese with the added spices or herbs to increase the palatability and also to increase the marketing of the cheese. So two type of flavoring agents are actually used in the cheese. Those which are added to imparting flavor to the cheese are generally herbs and spices. Those which are give nutritive value in their own right, the ham meats, that is also being used. Chopped herbs and or their juices or dry crust semi powder have been used to impart flavor and aroma in the cheddar cheese. In some cheddar cheese, in some cottage cheese, we are actually in the market. There are some cottage cheese which is available with the addition of flavoring compounds. or herbs, and they are high demand in the market due to the increased flavor development, है ना? And smokes, you already know that smokes is also one of the preservatives, and it is but in case of cheese we are actually also use this one for a smoky flavor development in the cheese, which is actually required in some variety of cheese. So cheese are exposed to the smoke charged atmosphere for a smoky flavor development. So incorporation of smokes, flavor containing phenolic substances have preservative effect and also impart the flavor to the cheese. Cheese is actually dipped in the liquid condensed smoke and addition of beverages, है ना? इसमें क्या है कि cheese is also dipped in the liquid condensed smoke also, हाँ, to get the or to improve the shelf life of the cheese also, and we can also getting the some typical flavor in the cheese which is actually required in some variety of cheese. Alcoholic beverages, we are using alcoholic beverages in beers, wines and liquors have been added to raw cheese curds and to improve the flavor of the cheese. In some parts of the western world they are actually using using or consuming the cheese along with wine. So have you any query you can ask, है ना? Similarly, the cheese base such as in some typical mixture or cheese are based with the chips, onion, and Spanish, potato, carrots, chopped fat. These are actually also, and you can see different type of processes with the additives of herbs and some flavoring agents to improve the flavor and marketing of the cheese. So these things we have to discuss. If you have any query, you can ask. Otherwise, we have to go to the attend the condolence, है ना? Have you any query?
No question. No, sir.
Okay. ठीक है, ठीक है, तो किसी को कुछ पूछना नहीं है ना?